guys, it's Katie. Welcome back to my channel. I have a book review for you today. Whoops, just dropped the book and it's hardcover. I wanted to start out by quickly saying that I've been doing book reviews for I think over a year now, and I'm the first to admit they're kind of a hot mess. Like, some of them are better than others. Some of them have been better than others. But part of the problem was that I hadn't really fine-tuned the way that I wanted to do them, what rating scale I wanted to use. I mean, I've used the same rating scale all along, but the point is it hasn't been clear and concise. And so I spent some time coming up with a clear and concise way that I want to do them from here on out. So I'm hoping that starting today, this will be better. They will be better and they will be more clear, more concise. So that's all I'm going to say about that. I just really appreciate anybody who is still giving them a go or watched any of my other ones, because they weren't always my best work. Some were better than others. Again, today's book review is going to be on Something in the Water by Catherine Steadman. This was a Reese's book club pick. The overall genre of Something in the Water, I would say, is kind of like a thriller, suspense, couple story. So that's what I'll say about that. I quickly want to shout out that I'm going to start a new book rating system. I am, taking this rating system from an Instagram account that I recently followed called Pours and Pages. Pours like pouring something, P-O-U-R, and pages. And most of the time, I've done like a 5 out of 5, or like a level 5 would be the rating scale, and I would have 4 out of 5, 5 out of 5. Sometimes I'll use half points or whatever, but I think the way that this girl does it is better, and so that's why I'm going to be doing it from here on out. She actually does letter grades. I will put this in the description below what the letter grades all entail, but basically it goes from A+ as the top tier down to the lowest would be C, and within that there's like A+, A, A-, B+, B, B-, etc. So it doesn't go below a C, and that's kind of what we're working with. Read the description if you want to see what kind of an expansion on those letter grades, because she explains it very well. The rating and the grade that I'm going to be giving to Something in the Water is probably a B. And the way Pours and Pages describes a B is that it's a good book. Would still tell people to read it if they asked, depending on what they liked, but it's not at the top of my list of recommendations. So it was definitely good. It was entertaining, but it didn't, it wasn't anything crazy over the top. The basic plot line is a story of a young couple who gets married and then they go on their honeymoon in, I think, Bora Bora. While they're in Bora Bora, they go on a scuba diving trip. And on the scuba diving trip, they find a bag that's floating in the water. They bring it back to their place. And when they later open up the bag, they discover, I think it's $1 million in cash. It's like a huge amount of money in cash and also a ton of diamonds. And from there, they have to figure out like what to do with the contents of the bag, etc. Things start getting pretty hairy from there. They end up going back to the site where they found the bag, and they scuba dived again, and they saw that there was like a plane that had crashed and there were some dead bodies. So this bag definitely came from people who were up to something. A few other relevant notes is that the husband is a big finance guy, but he recently got fired from his job, so they are kind of financially struggling. As well as that she is a documentarian, and she is currently working on a piece about life in prison, and she follows the life of like 3 different prisoners who, like, their life while they're in prison, and then it's people who are about to be getting out, so it's like kind of like a post, present, past, whatever. Like, so those are some things that are going along in their personal lives as they navigate this whole situation. Those are some basic plot points for you. It was actually, the author is, well, that's the next part, is so chapter length, writing style, all of that. So the chapter length was average. They weren't particularly long. They weren't particularly short. They were pretty good. I tend to like books that have shorter chapters. It just helps me kind of fly through it. They were just average. The writing style is that it's all from one person's perspective. It's all from the main character's perspective, but there's a variety of like, you know, it's a pretty traditional writing style. It's all through one person's perspective, and then here and there are like letters or emails or text messages, but it's not necessarily formatted that way. Those are just incorporated. What I was going to say is that the author is British, and so it takes place in England. I think it's England, it's somewhere in the UK. And there's definitely like tones of that, like British dialect, British slang, and like, you know, so that's just a note if you care about that at all. My favorite character in this book, my favorite character actually was, I'm gonna say this guy named Eddie, who Eddie was one of the prisoners that Erin is the main girl, one of the prisoners that Erin interviewed and worked with. He was kind of like, I mean, he definitely like had a criminal past, big time, but he was very charming actually, and clever, and you know, he plays kind of an important role in the book. So I liked Eddie the best. Were there any standout quotes? Here's one quote that I took down. It's nothing like revolutionary, but she just is talking about their marriage and different things, and she says, "What you don't know can't hurt you." And I like that. I mean, that goes along with the whole notion of like ignorance is bliss, which is a common quote. So there weren't any crazy literary gems in there, but I liked that quote. And then the last thing on my list of like the way I do my book reviews now is, would this make a good movie or show, / what actors would I want to play? I think for me, like, I love watching movies or miniseries or shows that are based on books that I've read. Like, that's very exciting. So let me preface it by saying, sure, I would like to see a movie of just about anything that I've read, but like, am I itching to have this be made into a movie? No, not really. I'm sure it could be a good story. Like, you know, I would definitely see it if it came out. I don't think they could really necessarily do a miniseries. It would be much more of like a movie situation, but no, there are plenty of other books that I would rather have be made into movies before this one. So yeah, that's that on that. Again, I'm giving this a B rating. Let me know if you have any thoughts of your own down below, or if you've read anything similar or anything else by that author. I hope you like this new style, and yeah, we're gonna be going uphill. It's gonna be improving from here, I promise. Okay? Love y'all. Bye.